As we begin the movie, we meet a boy named Bart. He is a cheerful and lively boy who loves listening to music. On that one day when he returned home after a fun time playing outside his house, he saw his father burning some of his football equipment. Despite seeing the mess in the house, Bart did not dare to ask about what had happened. His mother then asked him what he was carrying, and Bart replied that the thing he was holding was a space combat helmet that he had made himself from old cardboard boxes. His mother appreciated Bart's imagination about things related to outer space, but this was not the case with his father. Bart's father is a violent man. He often beats Bart and always forbids him to do the things he likes and to have dreams. According to his father, there is nothing good about dreams. Dreams only make a person avoid reality. Therefore, when his father asked what he was holding, Bart said it was just trash, and then his father took it away and burned it along with other things. Later that night, Bart hears his parents having a big fight. Bart then puts on headphones and listens to music, pretending to sleep because he doesn't want to hear their quarrel. The next day, his mother asked Bart to join the church's camp. His mom wants Bart to enjoy the time by having fun, making new friends, and creating memories. Once at the camp, Bart meets a girl named Shannon. During the camp, he makes good friends with Kent and Shannon. During the program, each child gets a journal that they have to fill in with whatever they think, just like a diary. But for Shannon, the journal is not just a journal, but rather a piece that can make her mind more organized. She can write about everything in it, such as her prayers, her problems, her dreams, and also things in her imagination. Bart is curious to see what's in Shannon's journal, but Shannon shuts him out. Bart finally happened to see the contents of Shannon's journal when Shannon accidentally dropped it when she collided with Kent. Inside her journal is written that Shannon likes Bart. Bart quickly closes the journal and then gives it back to Shannon. Before he goes to bed, Bart draws his thoughts in his journal, a little boy with a monster. Out of the blue, Kent, who sleeps on the top bunk, appears and startles Bart. Kent praises Bart's drawing skills, then he invites Bart to sneak out. As it turns out, it wasn't just the two of them who were sneaking out, but also Shannon, who had been waiting for them all along. Kent then orders Bart and Shannon to sit on a bridge, facing the north while he leaves somewhere. At that moment, Shannon mustered the courage to ask Bart whether he saw what was written in her journal. Bart then lied and said that he didn't see anything. Shannon doesn't believe him. She then says that she wrote about her feelings for Bart because she hoped that one day the two of them would fall in love and get married. After telling him that, Shannon is embarrassed and runs to go after Kent, but Bart holds her down so that she can't go. Not because he's afraid, it's just that Bart doesn't like being alone. A moment later, fireworks pop up, lighting up the night sky. It was Kent who prepared the fireworks. The next day, before going to their respective homes, Shannon gives Bart a cassette tape that contains her favorite song called Never Alone, sung by a singer named Amy Grant. Shannon tells Bart that one day she wants to be a singer like Amy Grant. In his journal, Bart writes that it was one of the best weeks of his life. Arriving home, Bart sees a movers carrying things from his house. He rushes into the house looking for his mother, but his father says that his mother has run away. Bart then asks his dad when will his mom come back, and his dad says for the second time that his mom ran away and won't come back. Knowing that his mother is often hurt by his father, Bart then asks what his father has done to make her leave. Bart's question ignited his father's anger to the point that Bart had to receive abuse from his father. Bart then runs out after the movers. He screams for his mother's forgiveness, and he asks what he has done so that he has to be left behind with his father. Since then, his mother still occasionally calls him to find out how Bart is doing. When Bart was in junior high school, he lived with his mother, but his mother's fate turned out to be no better after being married to her new husband, and one day, his father threatened to kill his mother's husband if he still dared to hurt her. After that incident, Bart was forced to return home by his father. Throughout his life with his father, Bart tried to master the one thing that his father cared about the most, football. Growing up, Bart became part of the school's football team and had a good romantic relationship with Shannon and continued to be friends with Kent. Despite all of this, his father is still abusive. One day at his home, Bart shared his football training with his father, and his father told him that, in the past, no one could knock him down in a match. His principle was if life hit him, he would hit back harder. His father also wanted Bart to have the same mindset as him, therefore, during a match, Bart forced himself to stand his ground to avoid falling when others from the opposing team attacked him. As a consequence, he broke his leg and had to stop playing football for good. After being discharged from the hospital, Shannon and Kent help Bart enroll in other classes that he can take apart from football, and the only class that is still available is the Glee Club, and inevitably, Bart must enter the club. Glee Club is a singing club that often features choirs and musicals. Since he was young, Bart had been listening to music, but he had never actually sung. Therefore, the Glee Club coach made him the assistant technical director. While Bart was in the performance hall, he found a cassette player. He then tuned in and listened to the song using headphones. Unknowingly, Bart sang the song along, his unique voice booming throughout the hall. The club director was quite surprised to find out that it was Bart's voice. The next day, all the students in the school congratulate Bart. Seeing a confused Bart, Shannon takes him to the bulletin board. His name is written there as the lead in the fall musical drama that will be held at his school. Bart then goes to see the club director to say that he can't be the lead, not only because he never auditioned, but also because his leg hasn't fully healed yet. The club director then convinces Bart that he can definitely do it after all. The show is still 2 months away. That's enough time for him to recover. Bart keeps trying to refuse. He says he is Bart, a football player, and he can't sing. The club director then tells him that Bart has talent. If Bart does not want to join this musical drama, that he will certainly not be able to pass her class. And so the story goes, we arrive at the day of the musical. At first, Bart feels awkward singing on stage in front of a large audience, but over time he enjoys it more and more. He sang while acting out his role. No one expected Bart to have such amazing singing talent. At the same time, Bart's father saw a flyer for an opera performance that included Bart's name on it. All of a sudden, he experienced a severe abdominal pain that caused him to be rushed to the hospital. Upon examination, the doctor suspected Bart's father had cancer, but further tests were needed to confirm it. However, he refused to undergo any tests. After the play is over, Bart, accompanied by Shannon, goes to the hospital to see his father. His father won't tell Bart what the doctor actually said about his illness. He only said that his blood sugar was low. At that moment, for the first time, Shannon is introduced as his girlfriend to his father. Bart wants to take his father home because he is worried about him, but his father says that he is fine on his own. Before leaving, his father makes a small mention of the play, telling Shannon that he never knew that Bart could sing. Shannon then tells him that Bart has very good singing skills. Bart then apologizes to his father because he didn't invite him. He thought he might not want to come to see him on stage. Not wanting to carry on talking about it, Bart's father said they would discuss it later when they got home. Bart is angry and disappointed because whatever he has done since he was a child has never been appreciated by his father. Once his father left, Bart then went to attend his clubmate's party without even bothering that he needed to see a doctor to find out his father's medical condition. One Sunday morning, Bart is all set in his suit because today he is going to sing in church. His father tells Bart to have breakfast before he leaves. As Bart begins to enjoy his meal, his father smiles as he looks at the front page of the newspaper, reporting on Bart's performance in the play. His father then makes a joke about the clothes Bart wore in the performance. Bart, who never felt appreciated, instantly gets angry when he hears he is only considered a joke. He then asks his father what's so funny. If he really wanted to sing, it was because he felt he really had the ability to sing. His father then states that Bart needs to find something that he is really good at so that he can earn a living properly. Bart then asks, how does he know what he can do if he himself has never heard him sing? And again, his father can't be outdone and replies to Bart's words by saying that all he has heard from him so far is whining and crying. Bart gets so annoyed at his father, he then tells him the radio frequency where he can hear him sing in church. Their fight that morning continued until Bart's father could no longer hold back his anger. He smashed the plate filled with food on Bart's head. Bart then attempts to stop his father's madness because he is fed up with his behavior. With his head still bleeding, Bart walks into the church and Shannon is very worried when she sees how he's doing. But Bart is a very secretive person, especially about any problems he is facing. He tells Shannon that he's fine. Shannon desperately wants to help him, but she doesn't know where to start because she sees that both Bart and his father wear masks to cover up their personal lives. At school, Shannon says that she has always loved Bart and begs him not to leave her. In an emotional state, Bart says that he never really loved her. When he graduates, he will leave her. Bart's words certainly hurt Shannon, and indeed, after graduating from school, Bart decided to leave his house and also Shannon. 6 months have passed and Bart is now living in Oklahoma. While he was working, he heard about a band who were preparing to perform that day, needing a vocalist. Bart then offers himself to be the vocalist in the band. From then on, Bart joined the band called Mersheim. Using a minibus, Mersheim toured around, taking as many jobs as they could. At one of the venues where they were scheduled to perform, Brickell, the manager of Audio Adrenaline, was there to watch Mersheim perform after Bart sent him some letters about the band. After the performance, Bart approaches Brickell. Brickell's first impression of Bart was that he was a man who talked too much. Regarding Mersheim's performance, Brickell felt it was not enough to convince him to become Mersheim's manager. He said Bart does have talent and potential, but he has yet to find his own song. Brickell praised Bart's last performance when he performed a gospel song. He saw that Bart had soul in it. Unfortunately, That kind of song is not the type of song Rasim usually performs. Brickell hopes Bart can write a song like the one he performed in his last performance. Not wanting to waste the opportunity, Bart then invites Brickell to come with him to Texas for the next show in their minibus. As odd as it may seem, Brickell accepted the offer. Before leaving for Texas, Bart, with the support of his friends, invited Shannon to join his band on tour. They then went to Shannon's house, but Shannon declined his invitation. Apparently, that's not what Shannon expected from Bart's arrival. Shannon tells Bart that she wishes him the best every day. Since Bart left her, she always hopes that Bart can find whatever he's looking for in the world out there. Bart and his band then start traveling to Texas, and every time they make a stop for a break, Bart and his friends prepare a new song to attract Brickell's attention. Their efforts finally paid off. Brickell was finally willing to give Rasim a chance to do a bigger show, and Brickell said that he would invite some people from the record label to watch them perform. While his relations with Shannon were not good, Bart still often contacted her and left messages for her. On the day of the long-awaited show, before going on stage, Brickell introduced Bart to some of the famous legendary singers of the time. Well, as the story goes, after the show, the Mersheim personnel gather around, waiting for the outcome of the discussion between Brickell, as their representative, and the people of the record label. Unfortunately, Bart is not one to wait patiently, so he goes to Brickell, who is in the middle of a discussion with the record label people. Bart says he wants to hear directly from the label's people about their performance, hoping that the results would be good, but in fact, Mersheim was considered still not good enough to be able to sell records. Bart seemed unable to accept the decision. He then told them all that Mersheim had successfully performed 7 well-attended shows and had been selling their own albums for years. One of the label people then asked Bart to accept the reality of his band's inability to get signed to a record label. When Bart heard those words, the image of his father, who always asked him to grasp reality instead of chasing stupid dreams, appeared in his head. Bart was angry. He thought people didn't understand and didn't appreciate the hard work he and his friends had put in. The person from the label then explains to Bart that they have worked with many bands that can recognize which band will succeed and which one will fail. Bart again shows his disagreement with the other guy's opinion. According to him, how can people say they won't succeed when they don't know them? Shortly afterwards, Bart goes back to his friends who are waiting for him, and at that very moment, Bart decides to quit Mersheim. Brickell walks up to Bart, who is alone. He asks, is Bart sure he's going to quit after all the effort he's put in? Bart then answers that he is tired and has nothing left. Brickell then describes how Bart looks on stage. According to him, sometimes Bart seemed like he was singing someone else's music, even though it was his own song. But there was one moment where he saw something authentic from Bart. But when it appeared, Bart looked scared, and it then just disappeared. Brickell then asks what Bart is trying to hide, what he's running from. And Bart tells him that he's running from his father. Brickell sees the pain, fear, and hatred that Bart feels. He then tells Bart to let the pain emerge and inspire him to write a song. That way, Bart will have a song that can touch the hearts of people who hear the song. Brickell later on says he may not always believe in the music Bart sings, but he believes in Bart. At that point, Bart makes his way back to his friends. He apologizes and says he wants to get back together with Mersheim, but before that, he has to go back to his home to settle some matters, and fortunately, his friends accept him and are willing to wait for him. When he returned home, Bart was surprised to see that his father's demeanor had changed from what he used to be. He looks better than ever. His appearance is neater. He has become more thoughtful and religious. His father tells him that he has listened to some preachers on the radio and read the Bible, and although there are many things he doesn't understand, God has answered his prayers for him to see Bart again. Not only that, his father was also trying to fix his Jeep, hoping to drive it with Bart someday. Up to that point, Bart is still confused by his father's drastic change. Actually, during the time Bart left home, his father always sent him letters, but Bart always threw them away without even reading them. Apparently, the big change that happened to his father was based on his father's desire to have memories and improve his relationship with Bart. However, Bart still finds it difficult to accept these changes, considering that his father has given him bad memories for most of his life. Bart later says that his father's change into a good person and acting as if nothing ever happened won't work to improve their situation. His father then asks Bart what he should do. He wants to try it. Bart then tells him that God can forgive you, but he can't. As his father used to tell him to stop dreaming, Bart asks him to stop dreaming about having a good relationship with him. Bart then walks out of his house and is getting ready to leave his father, but just as he is about to leave, he accidentally discovers his father's diagnosis that he has terminal pancreatic cancer. Bart returns home and sees his father destroying the Jeep that his father has been trying to fix. Seeing his father suffering, Bart is finally moved to give his father a second chance. Bart flips back to the journal of the camp he attended when he was young. He remembers the words of a pastor who at that time told all camp participants to write a line that reads, "Lord, tonight I choose to forgive." Back then, Bart didn't know who he should forgive, but this time he confidently wrote that his father was the person he wanted to forgive. At that moment, the pastor said, "It is difficult to forgive people who have given us many deep wounds in our lives, but if we have been forgiven by God, then God will give us the strength to forgive others." From then on, their relationship improved. Every day they spent time sharing stories with each other. Bart's father regrets his absence at every important moment, such as on the day of Bart's graduation. When his father found out that Bart was no longer in contact with Shannon, he told Bart to get Shannon back. He believed that Bart and Shannon were destined to be together. After spending a long time fixing his father's Jeep, Bart finally managed to fix the car. The two of them then drove around in the Jeep. Time passes and his father's condition begins to deteriorate. Upon arriving at the hospital, his father tells Bart that since Bart left, he loves to listen to Bart sing in church on his radio. He listens to every word Bart says, and after the singing is finished, he will continue to listen to the preachers. For him, Bart's singing has saved him and helped him to change. His father then explained why he had always told Bart not to have dreams. So far, his dreams had never come true, but he realized that Bart was not like him. Bart had real talent and he was proud of what Bart was doing. Bart's father then gave Bart his savings and life insurance. He wanted Bart to use the money to pursue his career. After some time, Bart's father passed away. Bart resumes his adventure with Mersheim and brings along all the journals he had back when he was a kid. One thing he discovered was that he had written the word imagine and the phrase "I can only imagine" on most of his journal pages. That's when Bart got the inspiration to make a song with the title "I Can Only Imagine," a song he made for his father. Bart later sends the song to Brickell and the song manages to make Brickell can't stop listening to it. After much consideration, the song was planned to be sung by Amy Grant. Bart wants his song to be heard by many people. Prior to singing his song, Bart told Amy Grant about his life. He told her that since he was young, he always thought of his father as a monster, but he clearly saw that God was able to turn the person he hated the most into the person he wanted to be his best friend ever. Afterward, Bart told Shannon about his new song through a voicemail. He also apologized to her for hurting her. Upon hearing Bart apologize, Shannon immediately picked up the phone, but unfortunately, Bart had hung up. The song "I Can Only Imagine" will be performed for the first time at Amy Grant's comeback showcase. Bart left a message for Amy Grant to tell everyone that he made the song for his father. Out of the blue, after introducing Bart as the songwriter, Amy Grant instead asked Bart to sing the song himself.
Bart, come on up. And I want him to be the one to sing it for y'all tonight.
Only imagine forever worship you.
Bart managed to touch the hearts of everyone who heard his song. At the end of the song, Bart earns an enthusiastic ovation from the audiences, and he saw the glimpse of his father there, smiling at him proudly. By that time, the tapes of the song that were already in the shipping process had to be withdrawn, as the song would eventually become Mersheim's first single. As soon as it was played to the public, the song managed to become the most heard song on various music platforms and was requested on almost all radio broadcast shows. After singing the song, Bart saw Shannon among the hundreds of audience members who came. He then immediately ran over to her. At the end of the movie, the epilogue tells us that Bart proposed to Shannon at Camp Glorietta, and they were married on November 8, 1997. The week Bart received his last check from his father, "I Can Only Imagine" became the #1 Christian song in America. It is now the best-selling, most-played Christian single of all time. Scott Brickell manages Mersheim to this day. He named his home property as Imagine Acres. Bart and his mom have grown closer over the years. Today, she's her son's biggest fan. Mersheim has gone on to record 21 #1 hit songs and counting. On February 2, 2017, Bart had a chance to share his story with the president, vice president, members of the House and Congress, and world leaders.